The Perfect Match. Written by Katie Fforde. Read by Jilly. The moral right of the author has been asserted. Chapter 1. Bella Castle took a breath and put on a smile she hoped would hide her frustration. She and her clients were standing in front of a little gem of a house, and yet it had just been deemed unsuitable. It might be a good idea to have some sacrificial boxes, too, ones that you don't mind if they don't get ticked, she said gently. While it's useful to make a checklist, you don't want to be ruled by it, or you'll never find a house. Bella had grown very fond of the Agnews over the 8 months she'd been trying to find them somewhere that fitted their requirements, but she did sometimes find them exasperating. They had small, stately tastes with semi-detached money. Big rooms, large garden, views, a garage, a restricted search area, and a reluctance to compromise made them something of a challenge. This particular garden, filled with roses and other summer flowers, was deemed too small and too much on the flat, although a level garden was one of their top priorities. Mrs. Agnew raised her eyebrows. She knew she was fussy and could even laugh at herself, but she hadn't so far managed to compromise. "OK, I'll have rose-covered arbour as my sacrificial box. Darling." She looked at her husband. "What about the wildlife in the garden essential?" Mrs. Agnew shook her head. "I couldn't compromise on the wildlife." "No need to," said Bella briskly. "There's always wildlife." She said this with a certainty she hoped masked her ignorance, but given they were in one of the less populated parts of the Cotswolds, she was fairly confident. "Then I'll have model train room as mine," said Mr. Agnew, who was slightly less fixed in his ideas of the perfect home. Mrs. Agnew chuckled gently, and then looked wistful. "Will that make it easier to find our dream home?" Bella laughed. "I'm sure it will." She was aware that she was very lucky. Living with her godmother Alice, who had a house the Agnews would die for, made it possible for her to stay in this desirable area in a way she could afford. She watched them drive away from the charming house that she'd been convinced would be perfect for them, and then got into her own car. She was disappointed. There was another family who'd been unlucky on a house that had gone to sealed bids, and if she found just one of these clients somewhere to live, she'd be content. She was about to set off back to the office when her phone went. It was Nevil, her boyfriend, and her boss. "Any good?" he asked, after the briefest greeting. "Don't tell me," he went on. "It made her feel hemmed in." Bella felt instantly protective. These were her clients, and only she was allowed to consider them fussy. "Come on, Nevil, if a house isn't right, it isn't right. And that last property I showed them was a bit claustrophobic." "So what was wrong with this one?" he said. Bella could picture him, one eyebrow raised, pencil poised over his pad, which he mostly used to doodle on. "Too flat," said Bella. "Ye gods!" "I'm going to come back to the office now. There are a few bits I need to see to," she said quickly, before he could go on about her favourite clients any more. No need to do that, sweetie," said Nevil, going from irritating boss to conciliatory boyfriend in an instant. "It's 4 o'clock. You push off home. I'll see you tomorrow." Nevil wasn't usually one for suggesting she pushed off home, and she was a bit taken aback. "Oh, OK then." She paused. "I might call on Mrs. Langley." "Good plan. See if she's finally decided to put her desirable 6-bed on the market. Gosh, she must rattle around in there." He chuckled. "Sorry, hon, there I go again. Always the estate agent. You go and see your old lady. And pick up some flowers on the way. Keep the receipt and take the money out of petty cash." Bella wished she hadn't mentioned Mrs. Langley. Nevil, though well-meaning, didn't understand that garage carnations didn't really set the heart racing. "To be honest, she's got a garden full of flowers, but it's a sweet thought." "Get her some chocolates, then, something nice." "Nevil, it's OK."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?